Okay, abusua bɛ ma kɔ aba strong so ɛde ba Ghana politics avenue so abusua yɛmbonwura yɛn nsɛm abusua Ken Ofori Atta ne ho nsɛm ɛna yɛgu so ɛde ɛbrɛ mo Ken Ofori Atta lawyers ɛkɔ committee anase ɛkɔ immigration officers for no custom officers for no ne ɔmokɔ nya enkita ho die bia abusua enka omokọ akọpre Ken Ofori Atta ne bail abusua bet omokokodru no empanyfo ise enya ade a omobebele Ken Ofori Atta ne abeli ne china abusua entino sisi ade Ken Ofori Atta no kianeke Dana etese ogusu a yedene dem and yes also akan mu biem say on the 20th January Ken Ofori Atta ebekwa akopie mu ewo court entino sisi ane de or dem kopim time a obekwa akopie mu ewo court entino we need latest update ebusia yede ebremo na unsubscribe ya subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enkabi mo me yankona yankonko ti ensma ekoso and don't forget to click on the notification bell so na be any update we ever dropping on also onsa ebetumi aka medamase.
Thank you very much. So I will go back to how we have handled the situation from the outset. You see, Ken is now having this difficulty because he sees how opponents of the government today, that is members of his party, have been arrested, the Wontumi and all those people, how they went in there, bail conditions, etc. All these acts are an act of apprehension. So putting all this together, the signals you send is that if I come, I'm the big fish. They rather put me through a very difficult scenario. I'm saying that why can't the Attorney General and the OSP tone down and let it look like just come and let's go through the process, because no matter what you must stand accountable for your deeds. Accountability, no matter what, we cannot shelve it. If that is presented, I think that we can bring Ken down. And I'm also thinking that if the NPP wants their betterment, they should begin to speak to Ken to voluntarily say that well, let me come and let me dare the consequences.
Yeah, but he's been arrested now.
Yes, however, very well, he can decide to, like Kofi said, he can decide to now make it clear that already he's been sought after for a legal procedure back in his country. And I don't think the US will want to say, okay, we still want to keep you. I mean, we can, all these things, these are legal matters. When it's presented before a judge, leave or directives can be made. Let the MPP think that, well, let Ken decide to come. And then rather let it be clear that let me come and let the NDC do what they want to do with me. Let them parade me before the whole country. Let them put chains on my hands. Let them put chains on my legs. Let them deny me bail. I mean, from how it's going, I think that if the MPP think that they really want to survive as a political party, they should advise their brother to come and face what the NDC can present. But what the NDC can present is all what we have.
Are you telling us that the MPP will cease to exist by 2028 if Ken Ofori Atta does not return? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, when it comes to the politics of this country, these things are very important. And Kofi and I have agreed. As for the accountability, it's a must. If Ken must account, he must account. So if the MPP think that, well, we will do politics with this, so because of that, let's delay, let's drag, that's funny. Because if it was a CPP government and somebody misbehaved, the person must account. NPP government, somebody must account. NDC government, when they leave office, somebody will account. So if accountability is the guiding principle, so that we all are guided as a country to be able to appropriate our resources for the benefit of our people, then it's in their interest now, where it is now, to try to tell Ken to come. Because you see, what I'm trying to stress on is that the picture that we see the NDC putting Ken through is already clear. We've seen it. So what are they running away from? They should tell him to come and go through the picture. Let them handcuff him, let them take him to Yoko, take him to Attorney General, change his position, take him to how do you call it, BNI and all those things, let them deny him bail. And then at the end of all that, after 3 days, 4 days,
it appears to me that you have a challenge with this, oral posture of this new government.
Yeah, because you see, we are handling the thing with extra emotions. The emotions that is attached to what we must do lawfully and properly is what is messing everything up. The government is entitled to go after people who have misconducted themselves when they had the opportunity to serve this country. I agree, and I think Kofi agrees. But if the OSP, look at how the OSP went about it. All of a sudden, then Interpol, then we're going to put you out there, then they publish your name. All these were not helping. If you really wanted to prosecute somebody, go ahead and take steps and prosecute. And let's see results. So I'm simply saying that the MPP, it is in their interest to try to tell Ken to come back and face the picture we all know, at least if not all, every Ghanaian who is following knows the picture they will put him through. They will put handcuff on him, take him to Yoko, take him to DNI, and then deny him bail and give excessive bail. So they should bring him and let him face that. And when he faces that, after 2-3 days, 1 week, he has faced that, the law will take its course, and then the proper prosecution will start, and that will be it. If they don't do anything like that, then they must know as a political party that, well, the citizens are watching. If you don't want to be accountable for your stewardship, then be prepared to stay out there, because for CPP, we are making efforts to launch onto accountability. And if NDC and MPP people will be given opportunity to serve this country, and they will not be able to account for their stewardship, the country should put the two of them aside and prepare to bring the CPP in to come and work and account for the people of this country.
Yeah, Kofi, why wouldn't you just join the CPP now so you make that happen?
Say it again, why don't I what?
Why wouldn't you join the CPP now and make that happen?
Listen, the CPP is made up of two factions. Half is NDC, half is MPP. I don't believe a thing of what they say.
Are you sure about that?
And this is why...
No, I am not.
Let me finish. And I'm making this clear. Blessed.
Okay, let's hear you now.
If you follow in politics, you will know what I'm saying is true. That's why Samia left. That's why the whole CPP is fragmented. But now let me make my case, Blessed. The case I want to make is this, is if Mr. Mahama and the NDC are serious, then from this point forward, they should not allow any member of a sitting government or previous government to leave post and go abroad for medical intervention. Till that loophole is closed, we will always have this ridiculous situations where everybody...
that will be against fundamental human rights of the citizen.
No. It will not be. It will never be, because people in America, in Congress, don't come to Africa for medical interventions.
Yeah, but Kofi, I mean, to be fair, they've not been barred by law not to come to Africa for medication.
They won't come. They won't even come for vacation. So how much more
Are you sure
medical
about
intervention?
That?
The point I'm making is this. We have opened the doors of our Constitution wide open, and we've attached it with these sexy little hints of things in the Constitution that allows people to really abuse it. The vice president gets sick. She gets flown first class abroad for medical. Why don't we have the best of our medical staff? If you go to the U.S.
Yeah, Kofi, we are running out of time. Yeah,
I know. We have more medical professionals in the Bronx than we have in the whole of Ghana. Why can we not give them an offer for them, most of them, to come back home and create a fabulous, perfect, near perfect medical facility, medical system, so that everybody in Ghana can enjoy that? Why is it always the leaders who have a right at the expense of taxpayers' money to fly abroad?
Big question you're asking that indeed he's been detained, except to say that one more attempt is being made to try and see if, of course, the U.S. authorities will see reason to this whole approach of dealing with his request to adjust the reasons for which he would want to extend his stay in the United States. There are varied legal opinions on this matter, a reason for which we are expanding the conversation to look at this whole story of Ken Ofori. I want to start off with one man who's quite conversant with the U.S. He spent quite a considerable number of years in the United States, educating himself there and, of course, working there as well. He ended up on our ballots one time as an independent presidential candidate. Kofi Kranting is joining us now, I believe, from the U.S. Kofi, where you are, listening and watching and reading all of these matters unfold. What went through your mind immediately you saw this trigger online that indeed it's been confirmed that our former finance minister has been detained by U.S. authorities.
Blessed, how are you? How are your viewers? I hope you can hear me well.
Loud and clear.
Happy New Year to you and to the whole Joy News family. Blessed, I'm actually shocked and very surprised. And the reason why I'm shocked is, and you see, they take their incompetence everywhere. The moment you arrive in the U.S., if you have any, first of all, at a visa control center when you enter the country, you are told how long they're going to allow you to stay, which is usually 6 months. So the first thing the lawyer should have done was to adjust the status of his stay, or put in for their status adjustment. And if that were done, it would show up. There is a website that you could go on and find out. If you put in your passport number, you put in your name, it will tell you how long your adjustment has been extended to. So this is not something complicated for anybody who knows what they're doing to do. And it comes as a huge surprise to me that from the moment he entered here, he was told, it was stamped in your passport how long your stay is. And if you need more time to that, which I'm sure he knew he was going to stay here longer than that because he wasn't planning on coming back to Ghana. He should have, the first thing that lawyer should have done was, put in for an adjustment of his status, and they didn't do that. So I'm questioning, is this for real, or was this something they just thought about in the last minute and say, hey, listen, this is going to fare up good in Ghana because we don't want you to go back anyway. So why don't we make something up and let it seem as if you've been, arrested by immigration and border control agents, so that we could. It takes and it bends to the narrative that they want to create, that he's not able to come back home because now he's in the custody of ICE.
Okay,
so
let's clear this off. Let's clear this off the table. I'll ask you about ICE shortly, and the reason for which I'll ask you about that is, the conversation around whether or not there's a dramatic shift in the immigration laws of the U.S. For how long have you been in the U.S.? And looking at what's happening now, is this new to the system, or this is the way it's been all the time?
It's not new to the system. Everybody who enters the U.S. gets the stamp of admittance in their passport. If you come in, unless, of course, you're a citizen. But if you're not a citizen, you get a stamp in your passport that tells you how long you could stay. And even if they don't put that stamp in your passport, there is a general public website that for INS that you could go on, USCIS, that you could go on, and with your passport number and your name, you could find out how long you've been given. So let's just say Ken did not know that. Good. His lawyer that's the first thing his lawyer should have established, and an adjustment put in for him, so that it will give them more time for them to, finagle his situation if they wanted to make a case to the Ghana authorities. But that was not done, which is a huge surprise to me, because the person does not have a stay in America. So I don't understand. And this is not something that just came up with the new Trump rules and regulations. This is something that has always been. So there's no excuse for not knowing, or for, pretending that they may be playing the game or card that, hey, the games of the U.S. have changed recently. So they just swung this on us unexpectedly. No, this has always been the situation. So I don't see an excuse.
Yeah. In fact, mixed reactions now, listening to the story, reading about it, and reading as to what's been happening to our former finance minister. That's the designation I'm using because he's a former state official. Do you feel that this is the point where we could see some diplomacy at play, with the government of Ghana coming through, giving some support to Ken Ofori at this moment, because he's been one of our longest serving finance ministers? Would you want the state to intervene at this moment? At least we know he's not been well.
The state should intervene and bring him home. That's the only thing. I mean, for the authorities of the U.S. to hand him over, I doubt it. But even if they were to make an exception and hand him over to the Ghanaian authorities, I would not expect it to be, well, let's hand you over and continue your stay here for your legal representation to go on. I would be, well, we're handing you over so you could go back to your country because you violated our state visa laws. So if the state has to intervene, it would be to bring him home so he could face the charges awaiting him.
Lawyer Wayo Government is the CPP's 2024 running mate. You are a lawyer, you understand the laws of this country very much so. Listening to this news, we know that there's a pre-existing demand from the government of Ghana asking for extradition of Ken Ofori Atta. Then we have the OSP also triggering different processes earlier, though, putting the former appointee on a stop list. Now we've heard of the latest. What does that mean, and what will be the implication for the pre-existing attempts being made here locally? And kindly unmute so we can hear the points you're making. We're having yes, loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I was just asking about the implications for the law here in Ghana, and knowing that, of course, the OSP has described him as a fugitive of justice.
Thank you very much, and good evening to your cherished listeners. And let me say Happy New Year to you, my brother, and your team, and to our cherished viewers as well. So listening to my brother Kofi Kranting, we can clearly see where this whole difficulty emanated from. Kofi makes the argument in the US sphere, and you can hear Kofi loudly say, when Ken entered the US, he should have known his duration on his passport, and therefore his lawyer should have put in extension thereabout. It's so clear. That's why sometimes over partisans of issues becomes very uncomfortable for the building of a nation. I'm not holding brief for Ken Ofori Atta. I'm a CPP man, so I'm not holding brief for an MPP man. But the way the NDC government has gone about this, Ken Ofori Atta's first lawyers were Ghanaian lawyers. His first lawyers were not US lawyers. And that goes to punch hole in Kofi's narrative that Ken's lawyers should have known his stay.
Are you for real?
Ken Ofori Atta's lawyers were Ghanaian lawyers. It was when the issue of extradition became a contention. Then now we hear Ken go for US attorneys.
Whatever the case.
So it tells us, as a country that.
Yeah, whatever the case.
No.
Just late last year, as far back as the late last year, we had those expert lawyers, if you want to term them as such, featuring in, doing some interviews even with the BBC on behalf of the former finance minister. That's enough time for anyone to advise the former finance minister your time is running out.
Let's put the time frame in perspective.
Yes.
If you say last year, you don't go to January, February, March last year.
Yeah, but I'm saying whatever the
issue
case.
of Ken having expert lawyer.
Yeah.
No, please. The issue of Ken Ofori Atta having expert lawyers just began around November, December, thereabout. But I'm saying that as a country, when the OSP and the Attorney General decided to go after Ken, his lawyers were Ghanaian lawyers. So they couldn't have known that Ken is going to overstay. That's number one. Number two, in law, when it comes to criminality, there are two ingredients, actus reus and the mens rea. The fact that from January, February, or thereabout 2025, when Ken left this jurisdiction, if we go by what Kofi is saying, which I agree with Kofi perfectly because Kofi lives in the US, that you must know your duration on your passport and begin to ask for extension.
I don't live in the US.
It's clear that Ken...
I don't live in the US. I live in Ghana, my brother.
Okay. No. What I'm saying is that per your expert understanding of the US system, I have not visited the US. So you are trying to educate us, which I agree with you that if you travel, you must watch on your duration on your passport.
Yeah,
and
but
if you want to extend.
Counsel, what
And so you
difference?
were trying
What
to
difference
declare-
that? What difference does it make? I mean, this point you're raising.
So the difference. So give me. So blended. Give me a moment. So the difference here is that I'm trying to establish the criminality here. They said if you want to go after a criminal, the law on criminality talks about status, rules, and mens rea. From what we are hearing from Kofi's explanation of how it works in the US, it tells you that Ken Ofori Atta, when he left Ghana, did not go to the US and had intention to extend their stay in the US.
How do you?
Okay, abusia we ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway so Ken Ofori Atta ne honsem ena ye de brema chese ye deny ne bail abusia eye are honsem ya enye easy kra bada masesem jepene kokoti za ensem we de mi aha Ghana Politics Avenue so and don't forget to click on the notification bell so na be any update be ebe drop onso onsa ebe to me aka medamase.